Hello and welcome to
Preview. Everton Fulham.
just because the stream wasn't scheduled. It takes a while for people to join once they see it is live, and so speaking slow until more than one person is watching. I'm
It's
only
the warm
joking.
up, yeah.
Everton versus Fulham, Goodison Park, not to be anymore. It's at Bramley-Moore Dock. And Everton have really struggled to find the kind of the Goodison factor at the new stadium, Corey. How much of a
Yeah.
bigger thing has this been for us this season?
I mean, to be fair, there was times at Goodison where we struggled as well. I mean, previous history, we were quite poor at Goodison as well, weren't we? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it has been a little bit of a factor. Obviously, we've not had major wow moments so far. The win against Brighton was good on day one for the stadium anyway. And the game against Palace as well was really good. But we are missing something. But I think a lot of that just comes down to form in general. We're quite poor away from home as well as we are at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think it's aided us in any way, the new stadium. I don't think the atmosphere has been brilliant, and I don't think it's really affected the players in a positive way. Um, and I think that will still come. That's still to come now. So, Fulham had a really good record at Goodison Park in the last few years, beating us nearly every single time under Marco Silva, which is why I'm not particularly looking forward to this game. At the same time, it's not Sean Dyche, it's David Moyes. We're not at Goodison Park, we're at Bramley-Moore Dock. Can you see I'm filling the time here? I'm only joking. Um, and so what do Everton need to do differently against Marco Silva's Fulham that they didn't do in previous seasons to get a result at home?
Um, we need to be a bit more progressive. I think when we've played Fulham, we've always been far too defensive. The midfield's been weak.
Yeah.
Still, probably we're still seeing that a little bit at the moment. I think we need a little bit more control of the game as well. We need to dictate where we want to go with the ball, what we want to do, and I feel like most of the time we haven't done that. Fulham have been a lot quicker, a lot more tempo, certainly better in the midfield. And we play every time we played, and we played through our lines very quickly, counter attack very well, and they've stung us quite a lot. So I think we need more
Yeah.
control of the game, and we need to grab more control of the midfield. But you could say
What
that also for this season.
One thing I've noticed about when Everton have played Fulham in the past recent years, apart from when we beat them at Craven Cottage, sorry, the reason my camera keeps wobbling is because Lily, this cat, she's giving me too much attention today. She's had a dental surgery and now she's being really clingy. It'll be the anaesthetic wearing off. So you bashing into the. She's literally like, but my hand. She's like smooching my hand and knocking it.
So just do
Um,
20 minutes of that, we'll get loads of views.
the what was I going to say? The wings, Fulham on the wings, both fullbacks, both wingers. I've just found it really difficult to struggle with them. They seem to try and overload on one side, get in behind you, and then pull it back, or get it across to the other side for a tap in. And that is where they've done us. A Bournemouth do it to us. Teams get down the wings with pace, and I'm really worried about Anthony Robinson, for example, against Jake O'Brien.
He's don't think he's back from
Is he
injury yet.
injured? Is he
Looks
injured?
got Ryan Sessegnon. He's not as fast as Anthony Robinson. He's not as good as Anthony Robinson, but
Yeah.
he's a decent deputy and he has got pace. But you are right, they do, especially down that left hand side. Even without Robinson, that's that's their main port of call. That's where they want to go. And Calvin Bassey at centre back will drop out wide, let him go forward. Basically, everything that we wanted from Branthwaite, if he would have come in fit, and then allowing Mikalenko to get forward, although Mikalenko's garbage going forward.
Yeah, and there's talk of the contract situation with him today. I think Everton need to decide what they're doing with him, if he is the long-term option or whether he's just simply too good to let go on a free. We still need to do something with the contract, I think. So yeah, Fulham really good on the wings, but they've also got focal point up front in Jimenez, and they've got other strikers as well. And then they have their technical players who play in the number 10. They have a solid uh, they are a very classic mid-table team. I think Everton can get something here. Remember Alex Iwobi at Fulham as well is another one with great dribbling, but not a particularly good goal threat, although he did score at Goodison Park, I think it was last season. We're going to have to try and lift the fans because the fans are going to be going there, me included, feeling deflated, feeling frustrated. We talked about Sunderland after the match. We don't need to go too much into that. We're going to be a little bit cheesed off, I think, really. I think the striker situation is becoming borderline farcical, and I think that will wind up. I think that will play on people's minds. And we'll come to that in more detail, who we're going to play up front when we do team selection in a moment. But how can Everton really lift the fans? Because I think fans will be turning up, as I say, a bit frustrated, a bit flat. That doesn't help the atmosphere in turn. That doesn't help the players. There's got to be a bit of give and take here. Or is it on Everton to really get their foot in, get their tackles in, play with intensity, play with speed, play with aggression, lift the crowd, and then feed off that energy?
Yes. I mean, if we start the game against Fulham like we did against Sunderland, it'll really lift the crowd. The issue we've had is that when we're doing things like that, as we've seen already, it doesn't last very long. So it needs to be sustained. It needs to last longer than 20-odd minutes. Or when the issue
would it help to get the ball forward earlier and more players forward?
I think it always helps to do that. The issue we've got is we've spoken about this a few times in the past couple of weeks, haven't we, right? That we're not very fast in getting the ball forward, and our midfield doesn't really want to get forward much. Our number 10 is a number 8, and our 2 players behind him in the other central midfield roles are basically holding midfielders.
So that is a good point. So what you're saying is the 6 defenders, Gay, Garner, and the back 4 and the keeper, 7 players are defensive minded. Dewsbury Hall's not an out and out dynamic number 10. Those 6 I mentioned aren't really distributors, and none of them are quick. Although James Garner's getting a little bit better with his distribution, none of them can distribute, and none of them are quick, and that is the worry. So when everyone is forward and narrow, and Grealish close to the strikers, to reduce those spaces which we've complained about being huge between the midfielders and the striker, you're asking the back 6 to create, because they're the ones who are deeper, they're the ones who control the game, and they haven't got an ounce of creativity between them or speed. If we lose the ball high up the pitch, they haven't got the leg speed to deal with the turnovers. So actually, there's an argument for, do we bypass the midfield and go long into channels? But then if we lose it, how do we deal with transitions and turnovers? The other option is then we play more, as you said before, more sustained possession, build up, and try that way. But I think it's laborious. I'm sounding quite negative, but I'm really trying to find solutions, and we've got to get 3 points against Fulham. This is a non-negotiable game. If we don't beat Fulham, I think Moyes has to be under more pressure. It's a Fulham mid-table team, no threat to Europe, no threat to relegation, at home. We should be turning up to Bramley Moore and rolling them over. Getting your best players into areas to hurt them.
I think
you want to jump in on that?
I just don't know if we will. You are right. We need to be a lot more aggressive. We need to be sustained with it, though, not just 20 minutes or so like we have done previously against Sunderland. We need to be more sustained, not so much that we have to be on top the whole time. When the tide eventually turns, which it will, football does go in waves. Even the best teams will come under a little bit of pressure from someone, but where the best teams are better at it, it doesn't last too long, and it doesn't dictate the rest of their game. Like against Sunderland, once they started getting on top, we struggled. We got in at half time. If we'd have come out and put a bit of pressure on them, we'd have maybe then gone on to win that game. The second half would have looked a lot better. But because as soon as the ball...
But we didn't have a shot in their box. We didn't have a touch in their box for 40 odd minutes.
And it's a case
which is inexplicable.
It's a chicken and egg thing. Was it that we've come out at half time and we've just gone dead defensive? That line, obviously, that defensive line with Tarkowski being so deep and the ball going in, was that symptomatic of we were just going to come out and play like that? Or was it a case of the fact that we come out, they got one attack quick on, and he scored from it, fairly fortuitous goal, because Pickford saving everything's going straight at him. Because that goal goes in, do the heads then drop again like they did after the Barry miss, let's say? So was that goal symptomatic of us playing deep, or was that goal the catalyst for the second half? But that's where the best teams, even if that happens and you do have that moment where you go, we've missed another chance. Evertonians, and we're so used to this, and I feel like it's a mindset still, and definitely a mindset of David Moyes, definitely, but he's pragmatic, he's quite negative in that regard.
Okay.
The best teams will literally have that happen, and they will go, do you know what, we're going to keep going again. we've missed a sitter, but we've created that really good chance. So let's put it in. Let's put the ball in the box again. And that's
Everyone
where,
knew that was going to finish 1-1 when we missed
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I'd have put my
exactly.
life savings on. I knew as soon as we missed that, I thought this is going to be a draw, this, and we'll rue this, because that is how the script works. If you're into your betting and your gambling, that is how you do it. You learn the script of football. It happens. It's such an emotional game. The margins are really fine. At the same time, I still think a striker would probably have us up in Europe, because that's how, even though it seems such a wide gap, the margin for that between success and failure dictates whether you're at the bottom or whether you're at the top. Corey, you just touched on some things there. You talked about how Everton played deeper and how we had 35 minutes and then dropped and played defence. What is the difference between the halves? Because Everton, every match this season, have had one good half or okay half and one poor half or less good half. I haven't seen us play well for 90 minutes. What is the difference and what is happening in games? Is it fatigue? Is it tactics? Is it a lack of belief? When, for example, we have a good first half, we're not scoring, you don't score a lot of goals, your belief drops. What are you recognising?
So I think it's more. So when we come out against Sunderland, I don't think they were expecting us to play as we did. We were turning the ball over. A lot of that was from their mistakes. We were still pressing, but then once our biggest strength is literally being able to press. We've not got pace. We've not got pace anywhere in the team. So when it comes to attacking, if we attack because we've got no pace, we're not making teams think you've got to play behind. You've got to watch behind you. You've got to watch the line. No one's running behind, like they said. Fulham and Bournemouth have done to ourselves. We don't do that. We're very, very slow. Even when we get the ball to Grealish, there's no one bombing on for the overlap. So they know, well, Grealish can still take 2 minutes and set someone up, but they know if we just drop deep, let Grealish have the ball, the players get forward, and then we can defend that really, really well. Everton only get one man in the box, so we can put two centre halves on either of our 6'3", 6'4" strikers. We need to be able to change that. Whether it's by having someone with pace who's willing to go over the top or play the ball forward. The only way I see that is Beto and Alcaraz, which probably won't happen, or by pressing higher up. Again, it is quite risky because we've not got the pace in the centre backs, but it's not always a case of pressing in their half. You press on roundabout. We said this plenty of times with our team and the abilities and what we're lacking. You press round about the halfway line every time. The team needs to be able to press at the same time. The issue with Fulham is they play very well between the lines. Obviously, you've got the fullbacks,
which is what we struggle with: the ball in behind the defence, the ball in behind the midfield.
The fullbacks who will overlap, but in that central midfield, look, they've got legs. Iwobi is a really good runner. He may play in one of the central midfield roles as opposed to one of the front three. He's very good at passing between the lines. Emile Smith-Rowe, Josh King, the young lad, all of them are very good playing between the lines. They're all quite fluid and they will all move around. So that's the issue. But we just need to be able to pack that and be quite aggressive within that small area and don't allow them to have too much of the ball and be able to pass.
So you're saying get all of our players narrower? And then allowing... Okay, can I ask you a different question?
Yes.
Why can't we get Njai playing high up the pitch on the shoulder and using the effing defensive players to defend and make them worry about whether their fullbacks are going to bomb forward? Because if you've got Iliman Njai and Jack Grealish high, ready to play on the shoulder, ready to win the ball and link up with the forward, then surely they think a little bit more about it, rather than them having to come back and basically play left and right wing back, which is dictated to... I mean, obviously the opposition get numbers forward and they have to come back and defend, but it frustrates me a lot of the time when you see Njai playing right wing back and you're like, yeah, but if we recover the ball back, I want you up the pitch because you're the one who can dribble past 2-3 people and set someone up. I don't want Garner and I don't want Gay and Alcaraz doing that.
No, I agree. And I think that while I do think that would add a positive spin to it, the issue is them players want the ball. And because we've not got players who... Because we've not got anyone who's willing to bomb forward, let's say it's Grealish who plays quite high up and wide. Look, he'll be able to bring the ball down. He'll be able to hold it. But we've not got anyone who's going to bomb forward. He'll hold that ball. He's not rapid, so he's not going to make someone think, oh, no, I've got to watch behind me. I've got to watch that. They know you just keep Grealish in front of them, and then we need someone bombing on, which we don't have. So they know they can nullify that threat. And Dyer's a bit more...
in front of a team. There's nothing in behind anyone.
And then in Njai, I think you got more chance of that. He's got more pace than Grealish, and he's willing to...
Is that to do with risk, Corey?
What's that?
Is that to do with not wanting to take risks, anyone?
Somewhat that, yeah. And I also think that we know that we don't have the pace to do it. You can take that risk if you've got people who are fast enough to join up. You know what I mean? If you've not got anyone fast enough to join up, there's no point doing it because you're increasing the risk with very little chance of reward. And Jai also likes to come back and he likes to carry. I do like that about him. But he likes to play with his back to goal. He likes to receive the ball, draw someone in, and then go past them. He's not someone who's going to try and beat someone in a foot race. I think definitely both fullbacks. Tete's a very good one-on-one defender. Session's got pace. And Calvin Bassett, centre-back's got pace for the centre-back.
So could we, rather than just always having the striker pinned on a centre-back and a winger's always over the full-back, could they not play between the lines ourselves and try and just stay away from them and find the space? And switch play earlier, maybe? Because we seem like we're not willing to switch out of the... where teams overload Grealish, for example, and do 3v2. Why the space on the other side?
We are. I mean, in terms of switching the play, again, if you've not got anyone, you can switch the play. But if your team's still not fast enough and not dynamic, then our team is very static. You switch the play and then they just get back into that shape. So a lot of the time it's wasted. It is a case of you need players who are going to...
We like to wait for them to get back in position before...
And when you watch us on the ball, other teams that have players who will literally... They won't stand still. They will literally move about, making the other team think. And then when they do receive the ball, it's created space for someone else. We very rarely do that, especially with our midfield. The two ways about it for me is, and I keep harking on about this, Charlie Alcaraz, bring him into the number 10 role, bring him just all further back. I keep saying that. But what I think it does, it allows us to press a little bit higher up. He's got energy. He's constantly wanting to press the ball. I mean, even against the game against Sunderland last week, look, he was very poor on that counter-attack. He missed a good, glorious chance. But the last 7 minutes was the last bit of time that we were actually putting pressure on Sunderland. And it coincided with him coming on, because he comes on, he does press, he does harry, he draws us a few more yards up the pitch. And he's not rapid, but he's got pace and he's willing to play on the shoulder. He makes them players think. So I think he would allow us to do that. Or alternatively, if you don't play Alcaraz, I would still take Idrissa Gana Gueye off, play a flat three of Garner, who probably do more of a holding role, Dewsbury Hall and Rule, who will bomb forward a little bit more.
So it's a 4-1-2-3-1. 4-1-2-2-1.
4-3-2-1 or 4-5-1, 4-3-3. Basically that. It's just back four.
4-3-3 with one CDM.
Three midfield, the two wide men in Grealish and Ajayi, and then Tierney, Barry or Beto front. And I think if you do that, Grealish can draw.
I don't think we play with a number 10 this season.
I don't think,
and that's why Beto's so isolated every game, because the gap between the midfield and the forward is huge, and the wingers stay wide. And
again, he's probably the only player we've got, and a lot of his best chances come from playing on the shoulder, and we're not doing that because we're playing slower. We want them to teams do get behind the ball, and again, Dewsbury Hall's not the one in that position ready to get the ball and pass it into space. The amount of times
I agree with you.
But again, if you don't want to do it with Alcaraz and maybe not with Beto, then Tierney Barry, who's a bit better on the ball, role, and Dewsbury Hall in the central midfielders role, and whichever side it's on for whatever player, when it's on their side, they can then do.
So give me your team.
My team for Saturday,
please. Yeah,
Jordan Pickford in goal, Jake O'Brien, James Tarkowski, Michael Keane, and Vitaly Mykolenko, because we've not got anything else. In central midfield, I would go James Garner, Dewsbury Hall, Alcaraz in the 10, and I would go Ajayi and Grealish, Tierney Barry up top. But again, also the possibility, instead of Alcaraz in the number 10, you play Real, Dewsbury Hall, and Garner. Even of them two, I think.
Yeah, we're going to be without Gana Gueye for a month. Senegal will win the African Cup of Nations. So we're going to have to try something different, whether that's Dibbling. I mean, I don't know why we signed Dibbling if he's a £45 million player who can't get a sniff. Who the hell's scouting them? Who the hell's signing the players? If he's one for the future, fine. But we didn't need the future. We needed now. I mean, living in the moment. Sorry, did you want to jump in there?
No, I just say I agree with you. I think that if we were always going to play Ajayi on the right and Grealish on the left, then look, we needed this. We needed
it's just a waste.
We needed a second string winger. We probably need another winger as well. But if that was the case, we needed someone with pace, someone who can change the game, not someone who's very similar to Grealish. What they have done is gone, okay, we need someone who's going to play second string, someone who doesn't mind having to wait to get into the team. They're going to probably be that guy. But then, if that is the case, you're doing that and you're spending so much money on him, yet with resale value. But you're spending so much money on when there's other positions which are much more important. The 10 million difference between him and Abdul Fatawu, I'd rather bring him on and bring him to the club, or I'd rather get someone else who is rapid with pace. That's what I'd rather do instead of paying as much as we have done on Dibbling. I understand what they've done, but I just think we've left ourselves short. We've gone too much for going. We want Grealish. Look, he's the big signing. I'm happy we got him. I want us to get him. We want this English superstar, the talent that everyone was raving about. We want to get him in. So you want kind of like flashy signings and things like that, which
stinks of a loan, doesn't it, though, for Dibbling? It stinks of a loan for Dibbling. It stinks of a loan for McNeil. It stinks of a loan for Barry. Before we go, Corey, because we don't have long tonight, I appreciate everyone watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave your comment. Let us know in the comments what your prediction is, whether you're watching this back. We do want to see what you think the score will be. The striker conundrum, then. I mean, in terms of, firstly, the team, there is a temptation for me to put James Garner right back and bring in Alcaraz as one of two number 8s, Alcaraz, Dewsbury Hall, Garner Gay. I also think there's a very, very compelling argument. By the way, I don't like the criticism of McNeil because I don't think he's a right winger, and I don't think he's fit as well. And I just don't think the system helps. But he wasn't good, but he's not near my team anyway. But he can score goals and assists. He's not in my thoughts. But there is an argument for Garner Gay to be dropped as well. He's been terrible this season, and James Tarkowski to be dropped. So there is arguments that you could say Tarky out, O'Brien across, Garner right back, and then roll Alcaraz and Gay, and Dewsbury Hall or whatever you want to do. Then you could say there's so many bad ones. Gay doesn't really deserve to play. You could potentially put Alcaraz, roll, Dewsbury Hall, Garner at right back. David Moyes didn't always play a defensive midfielder at Everton in his first spell. He had Arteta and Osman as the central midfielders. He had Fellaini, Arteta, and Cahill as the central midfielders, and various versions of this. It's only when he brought John Heitinger in, played him as a very defensive pivot to kind of dictate play and protect the defence, that he did. So, of course, Lee Carsley was here at times, but he didn't always need to do it. He kind of had the fact that we had numbers back. People who could get on the ball, and when we lost it, we had the shape, the discipline, no matter whether you were an attacking player or a defensive player. So there are arguments for lots of changes to the team, and I'll let that David Moyes to decide. But before I let you go, I need to ask you who plays up front for Everton and why.
Tierno Barry. I think
he
missed the sitter. I think other than that, he had a decent game. I think that the context of sitter is massive, and it's ruined we're doing the rating the other day. It ruined his game, ruined his rating or whatever. It ruins how you see his game. But if he didn't have that attempt at all, like it didn't exist, everyone would have been saying, look, he may not have scored, but he's had a good game. Same as with Brighton. He's done well. He's held the ball up. He had a hand in Njai's goal, and he's done well. Maybe that's a springboard for what we can work off. He's not had much.
But if he can't score them, what is he going to score from? Because he didn't look very good when he's gone one-on-one. He doesn't look very good when he's got to run at someone. He doesn't look very good at heading the ball. He doesn't look very good. I know you love him because you saw him at Villarreal. You personally asked for him and you wanted him. There's talk that he was a Friedkin Group signing and not a Moyes signing. He was a player that was offered to him. The same with the likes of Dewsbury Hall. The same with Merlin Roll. All players from Everton scouting team and not David Moyes' players that he asked for. He asked for Grealish, of course. But why are you confident Barry is going to come good? And why would you... Sorry, I don't need the bigger picture here. Why is Barry the right choice for this match against Fulham?
I just think, number one, I was saying the other day about how we need to play against certain teams, which will work better for him. I think he'll be able to lean on the likes of Calvin Bassey. Bassey's physical, but he's not the tallest. Basically, I just think Fulham work as a team for him to play against.
Okay. And that way you thought with Sunderland?
Yeah, they like more of the ball. They like more possession. They're not as heavily physical, especially on the right-hand side, which he'll probably drift out to. And I just think that he will have more chance there. He'll be able to show his abilities more. And after last week, I just think if you take him right out of the team after that sitter and you just throw him straight back on the bench, I think the lad just needs a bit of a run in the team, maybe just a little bit of love and care.
Why not Beto and Alcaraz?
I just think that you need to manage the players. You need to manage them mentally as well. I think you're going to get the same, but what you're going to get between Beto and Barry maybe isn't going to be massively different.
I think they're different players.
And I'd also like Beto to come on later. Look, let Barry give him a next bit more time now, 60, 70 minutes. Let him play the game, see how he's doing. I think he'll have a decent game, or it's a game that suits him warming and gelling into the team a little bit better. And then later on, let Beto come on and just say, listen, this is your chance. You can still usurp him. Be hungry, be aggressive, and go for it. And then hopefully go from there.
Corey, pleasure as always. I look forward to seeing you, and hopefully Everton can pick up the 3 points against Fulham. Just before I let you go, can I have your match scoreline, please?
1-1.
The misery continues. Corey, thank you so much. See you soon, mate.
See you soon, mate.
Thanks everyone for watching. Let us know what you think the score will be in the comments. Take care.